Welcome to the Drunken Zombies Podcast. We are going to explore a really gripping scenario we came across.
Wow.
A story about a new type of zombie with bone-crushing, steel-gnawing iron jaws.
Yeah.
Get ready. This one is intense.
It is. When I first saw this story about the quote-unquote iron jaw zombies, I immediately thought, like, how would that change everything? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how does that change what we think we know about survival in a zombie world? We really need to unpack the implications of that kind of resilience.
Absolutely. So the story revolves around Jake and Riley.
Okay.
Jake's a scavenger,
Okay.
and Riley is a mechanic.
Okay.
And they're on a supply run
Okay.
to a remote trading post.
Okay.
And things take a turn
A bad turn.
when they encounter these iron jaw zombies.
Oh.
And these creatures can tear through steel.
Oh, wow.
Their escape road is compromised,
Oh, no.
and they have to outsmart these monsters to survive.
So what's interesting here is like the immediate escalation of the threat we're not talking about. You know, your classic slow,
Right.
shambling undead, right?
Right.
The fact that they can destroy metal
Yeah.
changes everything.
It changes the entire landscape of survival.
Totally. Think about all of the common defenses. Reinforced doors vehicles. All of a sudden, those could be traps.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
The story really puts you right there with Jake and Riley. They're in this desolate scrapyard
Yeah.
trying to find a usable vehicle.
Okay.
You can really tell that Jake's this hardened survivor and Riley is the problem solver.
Okay.
You know, Riley is focused on the task at hand,
Mm-hmm.
but there's this underlying tension because Riley keeps having to remind Jake about the raiders.
Right. Because on top of the zombies, there's still
Yes, there's still humans
human threats.
that are causing problems.
Right. But, you know, human threats operate within a certain framework.
Exactly.
Like, you can understand what a human's motivations are with these iron jaw zombies. It's just pure instinct.
Yeah, and Jake describes them as being stronger than bone and tearing through steel like paper.
That is terrifying.
It really is.
Yeah.
It makes you think about how everything that you thought could protect you is now useless.
Exactly. And, you know, there's this interesting moment at the beginning of the story where Riley makes a joke about how Jake's always itching for a fight.
Yeah.
And it just shows their relationship so well.
Yeah.
They need each other to survive.
Yeah.
But they approach every problem
Smartly.
completely differently.
Yeah.
Jake's always ready to throw down.
Yeah.
And Riley is always like,
Let's think about
let's
this.
get smart about this. Like,
Yeah.
there's a reason why Riley is carrying around that oversized wrench.
Yes,
it's not just a weapon.
Yeah.
It represents
It's cool.
ingenuity, right? And I think when Riley talks about vibration affecting brittle metal,
Oh, yeah.
like, that's foreshadowing.
It is.
For sure.
Yeah.
That even thick bones can be cracked.
Yeah.
If you use the right frequency.
It's not just about finding bigger weapons anymore.
Exactly.
It's about outsmarting them.
Exactly. Using their strengths
Yeah.
against them.
Okay, so then the story shifts to this creepy, dilapidated farmhouse lab
Oh, okay.
where we meet Nina.
Uh-huh.
The whole mood of the story changes. We go from this open world to this confined, claustrophobic space.
Yeah.
And then Nina finds something
Oh, no.
that throws us for a loop.
What is it?
She says this ain't a virus.
So this isn't just
Yeah, this is not how we thought.
your typical zombie outbreak.
Oh, this is different.
Yeah, this is different.
This is a huge turning point.
Definitely. And then Asher,
Yeah.
the ex-soldier, uses the word adaptation
Oh, yeah.
to describe the iron jaws.
Yes,
That changes things.
it really does.
Because now we're talking about a biological change that's beyond just a mutation.
Yeah.
It makes you think that maybe these iron jaws were engineered. You know what I mean?
Okay, so it's not just a natural disaster.
Right.
It was caused by humans.
Yeah. And then there's this moment where you hear this small sound on the roof.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a reminder that even while they're having this conversation,
Yeah.
there's still danger lurking.
They're not safe.
They are not safe at all.
The way that Asher interacts with Jake
Yeah.
shows just how desperate things are.
Right. Yeah.
Because Asher's willing to accept help from anyone,
Yeah.
even scavengers.
Especially scavengers,
Yeah.
because they're so desperate. They need all the help they can get because
No.
they're up against something that they don't fully understand.
Yeah.
It's not just the zombies. It's
Yeah.
the fact that these zombies seem to be changing.
It's changing the rules of the world.
Right.
Then Nina makes another big discovery.
What is it?
She finds a connection between the cellular structure of the iron jaws
Uh-huh.
and engineering.
So she basically confirms that this is not natural.
Yes. So it wasn't the infection that broke the world.
Oh, gosh.
It was us.
That's a terrifying thought.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It really makes you question, like, who was behind this?
And why?
What was their goal?
And it's terrifying because it makes you realize that the biggest threat to humanity might actually be humanity itself.
The story really ramps up the tension as they try to barricade themselves inside.
Oh.
And Riley is working on these sound emitters.
Okay.
Jake is getting impatient.
Yeah, because he's ready to just go.
Yes. He's ready to fight.
Yeah, and Riley's like, no, we need to think about this. Think about this and be smart about this.
Yeah.
We don't need to.
Go in guns blazing.
Yeah, exactly.
You can see that Jake's starting to realize that Riley has a point.
That's good.
Yeah, that brute force isn't going to work this time.
Exactly. Because you can be strong.
Yeah.
But if your opponent is stronger than you and they don't get tired,
you can't win.
You can't win.
It's hopeless.
So you got to outsmart them.
You got to think of a different solution.
Exactly.
And then the trading post is overrun by the zombies.
Oh,
Asher is injured.
Oh, no.
And he's ready to give up.
Yeah.
But Jake won't let him.
Oh.
Jake is defiant.
Yeah.
He's like, we're not giving up.
But you know,
but then
there's a scream.
Yes. And they see one of the Iron Jaw zombies on the watchtower.
Oh, my gosh.
With the scout.
That's terrifying because it implies a level of intelligence.
Yes. It shows that they're not mindless. They can coordinate.
Exactly. And that changes everything.
It really does.
You can't fight something that you don't understand.
Right.
Yeah.
And Riley just says, you always call me crazy.
Yeah.
Because they're in this desperate situation.
Yeah.
And Riley's ideas are all they have left.
And it turns out she was right all along.
She was right.
Yeah.
They have to rely on Nina's notes.
Okay.
And Riley figures out a way to weaponize the frequencies.
Oh, wow.
To affect the Iron Jaws.
So instead of just repelling them,
they're actually using the sound to attack them.
Yes, to manipulate them.
That is ingenious.
Isn't it? It's like this moment where their strengths all combine.
Yeah.
And they figure out a solution.
So what do?
They decide to lure the zombies into the fuel shed and blow it up.
Oh, my gosh.
Asher gives them his final instructions and tells them to use their fire to save others.
Wow.
It's a huge moment for Jake and Riley.
Yeah, it is.
They have to step up and be the heroes.
And you can hear in the story how the sound is affecting the zombies.
It's vibrating deep within them.
Yeah.
It's like nails on a chalkboard.
They can't stand it.
They can't stand it, and the truck is just covered in spikes.
God.
It's like a weaponized porcupine fighting these metal-mouthed monsters.
It's such a vivid image.
It is.
Yeah.
And you can feel the tension as they're trying to get to the fuel shed.
Oh, gosh.
One of the Iron Jaws almost catches them.
Oh, no.
But then, boom.
The explosion. Yes. It's described as this vengeful sun.
Wow.
So they survive. But it's bittersweet.
Yeah, how could it not be?
I know.
They've lost so much.
Yeah, and Jake just feels empty.
You know, they did what they had to do.
Yeah.
But at what cost?
Exactly.
It's a Pyrrhic victory, for sure.
Riley says they have enough to start all over again.
Oh, God.
Some new hell we can't even imagine.
Yeah, because this isn't the end. This is just the beginning.
It's the start of something new.
And probably something worse.
Yeah.
The world has changed.
Yeah.
And there's no going back.
Riley's last thought is, sometimes to fight monsters, you risk becoming one of them.
That's so chilling.
It really is.
It is.
It makes you think about the choices you make when you're fighting for survival.
And if those choices change you.
Yeah.
If they make you into something you never wanted to be.
So what are your final thoughts on this story?
I think the scariest part is that it could actually happen. You know, we're constantly pushing the boundaries of science.
Yeah.
And we don't always think about the consequences.
Exactly.
What if we create something that we can't control?
That's terrifying.
It is. And what if that something
Yeah.
turns us into the monsters?
That's a good question to ponder.
It is.
If you were in this story, who would you be?
Would I be Jake?
Would you be the fighter?
Yeah.
Would you be the problem solver?
Would I be Riley?
Would you be Nina,
Yeah.
the scientist?
Yeah. It's a tough question.
It is.
It really makes you think about what you would do in
Yeah.
a situation like that.
We hope you enjoyed this exploration of
These Iron Jaw zombies.
these Iron Jaw zombies.
Yeah.
Remember to rate and follow
The Drunken Zombies Podcast.
the Drunken Zombies Podcast.
We'll be back tomorrow with another tale from the undead world.
Stay vigilant out there.
And be careful.
We'll see you next time.